A couple of years ago, I took up miniature painting little miniatures for games and stuff. I started with Warhammer, and I had never done it before in my life. I'd known about it, but it was coming out of the COVID pandemic, and I was trying to find something to kind of start to pull me back to the real world, something to get my hands moving and get my mind moving. See, this is the same one that I'm doing now. And I'm learning about the different paint scales and learning about color theory and stuff like that. It's fun. It's a fun hobby. These figures are all from this game, Heroes Quest, and I got an expansion for it. I got those because we were gonna play the game and never really did, but you get a lot of miniatures for the amount that it costs, and the miniatures that you get are a very high variety of like mummies, zombies, skeletons, amphibious things, orcs, goblins, humans. So it lets you experiment with like different types of armor, different types of weapon, and not to mention the furniture. All the furniture, you get to experiment painting wood, painting books, painting fire, painting flesh, painting weapons, painting. It's a really, really good variety for what it's worth. So I've gotten back into that. I built this little hut. Why can't I think of the word for that? Cubby. Jesus Christ. I built this little cubby here to paint in, and then I was motivated to start making a video and start speaking, I guess because I've had 3 weeks off of work. I've never had 3 weeks off of work before. This was very unique for me. And what happened was the position that I was doing at work was dissolved, and they're gonna take all the work from that position and just stuff it down onto everyone, and I was put back as a service technician instead of a foreman, which isn't a huge adjustment. When you work in the trades, anyone who's ever been a foreman and been in the trades for 15-20 years, you know, like, foreman positions come and go. You move in of them and out of them, you know, especially when you work for large companies. I've been foreman 3 times in my life. Anyway, so it's not so much a hit for me personally. It's a little bit of money, but honestly, not having the stress of trying to manage everybody and taking the responsibility for the workflow and everything being done correctly for everybody, not having that responsibility, I'm actually kind of looking forward to that stress release and I'm using the miniature painting as a bit of an anchor, a form of meditation, something to focus on and move around and practice, and no different than clipping bonsai trees or any of that raking sand, all that type of shit. And you learn a lot about yourself while you're learning how to do something like this. And I've just been spending too much time online and spending too much time worried about the state of the world, and it's ironic. I'm trying to get offline and just let everything happen. At the same moment, Americans are fucking like going to full-blown war with Iran, which is totally insane. That's wild. I'm trying to focus on my own life because it's going so quickly. My kids are growing so quickly. Every year it keeps flying by, and I'm putting off all the things about my own life that I want for myself in order to stay in the rat race, and that doesn't just mean my job and anything else. It's just being on Earth is the rat race. You can't escape it. You can pretend that you can. You can pretend that you're out in the woods and off the grid and all that shit, but you're on Earth right now. You're a part of the human race. And finding the peace in it, finding the peace in being a human, being involved in the mechanics of society and just doing my part and humbly enjoying my peace as much as people don't want you to, and invest my time on doing things like this so that I can make a whole bunch of these pieces. And I want to start doing this game called Frostgrave with my kids, and I will build the building pieces with my daughter because she's constantly making crap out of construction paper, and she built a little castle out of her Happy Meal box and she taped shit all over it. So she's got this natural crafting bug, so I might as well put it to use, give her something to invest in, that we can build something for this game, and her and I can spend some time together working on it. And we're going to build all the terrain for this game, and I'm going to teach my son to play it, whether he likes it or not. And it's just going to be this family project that we can all work on, because life is just flying, man. You got to spend time on, you got to invest time on shit like that. And sometimes it's hard to schedule quality time with your family. It's not possible, but it is possible to create a project for the family that is of no monetary concern. I mean, unless that's your vibe and that's your jam and you want to invest in home upgrades or whatever it is you're doing, but something for you to invest your time in with your family. And then you have the opportunity to create situations in which quality time may or may not occur. Usually just ends up breaking up fights. It's pretty cool. And learning a lot about the process of this. There's something called layering, where you take like different grades of one color and slowly layer it up so you can see all the definition in the model and stuff. And I'm kind of learning, like, certain times and certain layers, when you put it down, you need to kind of put it down with a little grain of salt, because what you're about to do next, there's a very high likelihood that you're going to have to come in and touch up the layer that you just did. So when you lay it down, you don't have like that fucking critical level of, oh, don't fuck this up, oh, don't fuck this up, because you're about to do something next to it anyway. So my point being is I keep going through all these cycles with myself, and I'm really trying to focus on myself, and I do something like keto really hard for a long time, to the point that I hurt myself. I do it with everything that I do. I'm very excessive, and I'm learning now that I've done things excessively, and now I need to learn how to balance things. And because I've done so many different things excessively, while I'm balancing them, I'll be able to know how well I'm doing on them. I can tell if I'm slacking, or I can tell if I'm really killing it, but I need to start balancing things in my life better. So I start work tomorrow, back on the tools, and there's a whole bunch of, they've made an attempt to like just take my job and dissect it and distribute it to everybody equally. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. I don't have any bad blood about it. I get it. But at the same time, they've stopped paying me to do all that stuff. So at what point was the extra payment for, you know, like how far do I take this? I'm in a fucked up situation because everyone else has to learn this new shit, but this is all shit that was my job already. So it's like, when do I just draw the line here or not? Like, how much of this am I expected anyway? That's boring. That's boring talk. Cleaning these brushes out. One thing that I've learned, the first army that I did was a Warhammer Ultramarine army, and I'd never painted shit in my life. So I got into it from watching on YouTube and learning about these things called speed paints made by a company called the Army Painter. And the speed paints are like semi-transparent paints where when you paint them on, you can see through them and you can still see all the definition and shit. So you don't need to paint any of the definition. You just need to slap the shit on the model and it all kind of shows through, right? And it gives you the confidence to try painting some models that may be fairly expensive without the risk that you're gonna totally fuck them up and they're gonna like half decent. This video is about nothing. This video is all my videos are about nothing. This is just me being stoned under the stairs, playing with orcs and goblins, mumbling about losing my job. Well, I didn't lose my job. I still have a very well-paying job. It's actually a good thing. This kind of goes back to the balance I was just talking about. This last month, my wife and I, with the announcement of this position change at work, last month in February, we started this exercise because I'll right out of the gate, I have not been budgeting very well. This is all financially related. And we just did this thing where we have shared docs, sheets, and shit between our phones, so they sync and we can see it. And she had a list going and I had a list going, and all we did was just keep track of every time we spent money. We just kept running it. And I spent so much fucking more money than I thought I was spending. I was spending like double what I thought I was spending, which is astronomical. Astro-fucking-nomical. I think a big part of it is things have gotten so much more expensive that a lot of things, I was always buying those things and I was just in a routine and I wasn't paying attention to it, and they were getting more expensive and I wasn't watching the prices. I was just buying shit and living my life. But that kind of skated away on me. And everything I do is on credit. I buy a stick of gum, I use credit, and I just pay it all off. So I wasn't noticing the... Anyway, long story short, something else I'm continuing. I'm going to continue trending my spending like this in March, and now I've actually got some budgeting. Last month it was just to capture, to see what I was doing naturally, right? And I started using this app, Lose It, again, which is really, really good for tracking your calories. And that's me about being like excessive. I'll get onto a calorie thing where I have to eat the exact same fucking thing every day. I eat anytime I weight train or anything like that and I'm trying to lose weight, I design like one day of eating and I eat like that for like 12 to 18 months. Same fucking thing every day. It's the only thing I've ever done that worked. But it's not sustainable because the second you stop doing it, it's it's a little bit of wobble in the tire, and then the tire just, when the tire's like razor straight and it gets that little bit of wobble, you get that. It's that point where the little bit of wobble, the tire fucking goes crazy. What the fuck was I just talking about, man? That's crazy. Something about eating. Oh, eating the same thing every day. I can't do that anymore. But I know how to eat healthy. My dog is barking.